Hage's story is not about cancer. It's a story of endurance of spirit, of counting blessings and taking the bumps along the way. And it's proof that looking at the positive side gives you the very best view of all. It begins in October of 2001. At the same time, MedPoint was a brand new company. In the span of a few short months, Scott went from believing he was in perfect health to recovering from his third surgery in as many months from an advanced form of melanoma. Doctors enrolled Scott in an experimental vaccine program at Duke University. Once a month for 7 months, he drove from Kentucky to North Carolina for the vaccine. And for a while, it seemed to work. Then, during a routine checkup in September of 2002, melanoma was detected in Scott's lymph nodes, leading to yet another surgery. Doctors continued the vaccine, adding high doses of interferon Scott received through a port that was surgically inserted into his chest. 5 days a week for 6 weeks, Scott endured the treatments. 2 hours in the oncologist's office, then home where the side effects kicked in. 30 to 40 minutes of chills and uncontrollable shaking. PET scans, CAT scans, x-rays, and blood tests became part of Scott's routine. But through it all, he kept working, kept trying to keep his life normal. He didn't want his children to see him as ill, even going so far as to hide it when he started having double vision. But when it didn't go away, a potential sign of melanoma metastasizing in the brain, he contacted his doctor, who immediately scheduled an MRI. This is not a story about cancer. It's a story about endurance. The MRI was clear. Positive is the story of Scott Hage's life. He even found humor in his situation. To help the double vision, Scott wore an eye patch, as if a 6'8" rep needed another way to get noticed on calls. He joked with doctors about why he had it, saying he tried a competitor's product, or that it was the result of not making budget. Humor in the face of adversity was his positive spin with a ripple effect. And for 2 years, there was no sign of melanoma. Then another finding during routine scans. This time, nodules in Scott's lungs, potentially serious and possibly life-threatening. There may be a benign explanation. Good news, despite an always present concern. But that concern does not rule Scott's life, nor has he let the melanoma, because his family, his friends, and his faith in Christ are his core. Scott has an unshakable determination to be positive. He's grateful to MedPoint for their wonderful support as he's weathered the ups and downs. He's chosen to focus primarily on the good, which describes how he lives his life. No regrets, no woe is me. From the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, Scott recognized it's not all about him. He's at peace with life and has clarity in his purpose. Endurance to Scott Hage is best explained with what he calls a cliche: to keep going when the going gets tough. There's nothing cliche about Scott Hage, nothing trite about what he's been through. No, this is not a story about cancer. The battle may not be over, but Scott has still won. His is a story of endurance of the spirit, and that is at the heart of this winner.